A study using special games and brain scanning technology is setting out to measure exactly when babies and toddlers develop key skills that enable them to focus, learn, and make sense of the world. The project's unique because hundreds of the children involved are the sons and daughters of parents who have also been studied for their entire lives. Dr. Karla Holmboe is Associate Professor of Developmental Science at the University of Bristol, who are carrying out this study. Morning, Karla.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So this is a big study. Is it working well?
Yes, I think it's going quite well. We are having lots of toddlers coming into our lab every single day. So yeah, I think we're doing great.
And what kind of stuff are you asking the toddlers to do?
So when the toddlers come into the lab, they'll do little games that we call tasks. They're very kind of simple games that we've developed to measure kind of important skills that they learn during the early years, such as working memory and inhibitory control, which are really important skills for children's development.
So with those two examples then, working memory and inhibitory control, what kind of tasks are you asking them to perform to demonstrate those skills?
Yeah, so for example, for inhibitory control, we have a really simple task on an iPad where children get a little reward for tapping a smiley face on one side of the screen. So when they tap that smiley face, there's a little animation and a tune. Mm-hmm. And we present it on that same side multiple times, and that gets them kind of used to making that response. And then at some point, it'll suddenly appear on the other side, and the children now have to kind of stop themselves or inhibit that action that they've got used to doing so many times.
Right, okay. And what about working memory?
So working memory is the ability to keep a bit of information in mind, usually to solve a problem or make an important decision. And here we use tasks such as, for example, hiding stickers in little pots and then covering
so remembering
the pots.
Where you've put something. Or something is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We've all had the experience of going into a room and then we can't remember why we got in there. So that's the kind of skill we need in that situation.
And what are you finding out about the development of the brain that we didn't already know?
Yeah, so basically, there's a lack of research in the very early years, and that's it's really important because we know that once children start school, and if they have problems, they tend to continue to have some difficulties, often into adulthood. So we are now going earlier, looking at the first 5 years. We are seeing the children in the lab doing the tasks I mentioned, but we are also measuring their brain activation using several different methods. And that really allows us to look at how the brain develops alongside those important skills.
And so would the idea then to be, if you identified a child who was maybe struggling with some of these skills and some of these tasks, that you might be able to intervene and help them with them so that they didn't then struggle when they first went to school?
Absolutely, yeah. That's kind of the ultimate aim after, the years we've spent doing this research, is that maybe we will be able to go earlier and see when those difficulties first emerge. And that will then allow us to look at how we can support those children, at the earliest possible age and at the right time.
And why is it helpful to be doing this study on toddlers who are the children of adults that you have previously studied?
Yeah, so that's a really exciting aspect. This is a study in a big cohort called the Children of the 90s. And we basically have information on the parents of these children going back from when the parents were in the womb themselves. So we have information on these, on these children's parents as they grew up, which is completely unique. We can relate that information to the children we are studying.
And so does that mean that you are able to start seeing patterns and sort of behaviours and abilities emerge within families?
Yeah, absolutely. And also we will be eventually sharing this whole data set. So the research community and other scientists can look at all sorts of questions relating the information you find back to the kind of history of these parents.
And so what's the ultimate ambition then? Because this is a big piece of generational research.
Yeah. So, for me as a scientist, obviously I'm really interested in just looking at how children develop over time and how different patterns of development emerge, how the brain and these cognitive skills develop alongside each other. But I also think the point I made about, being able to see if problems emerge at an earlier point is really important. And we can only do that really by following the same children over time.
And you're just trying really to identify what those really important building blocks are and making sure that all kids have them in place.
Absolutely, yes. And it's actually only in recent years that we've really been able to develop the right measures to start looking at these skills at a very early age.
It's very interesting. Good luck with it all. Thanks for speaking to us. Cheers, Karla.
Thank you so much.
That's Karla Holmboe there, Associate Professor of Developmental Science at the University of Bristol, carrying out this big old study.